steak frites, sauteed spinach, absolute fucking despair. Absolute fucking despair. Steak frites, sauteed spinach, the crushing reality of all that I've done and the love that I've destroyed. When I initially wanted to write this, it was going to be a sad ballad. Jesus Christ, it was going to be a sad ballad to the love that I had unknowingly lost, harmonica. Maybe in pursuit of a rap career I had convinced myself I wanted. Then later on, days or weeks, I wanted to write this as a possible piece of confusion on loss of where I should take myself or continue. But weirdly enough, weeks or months later, I'm finally writing this in a triumphant way to state to myself that I have direction, that I'm back, that I've learned from my previous mistakes that I've made, even though even those I didn't know were mistakes at the time. I have learned from things that some would consider mistakes, but were actually fun and much needed, maybe even blessings. So where have I been? Where am I going? From the last YouTube post, there was talk of therapy, the lacking I had, um, the lacking of, I guess, conviction, an eviction, and the company I was previously in. But overall, proud of myself. From the last episode, I mentioned that I was slacking and the talk of an eviction. Due to the failures of the council at the time, we had been evicted from the apartment that we were currently in during that time. The mold on the walls that we had been complaining for years, and their solution, the council, after years of ignoring requests, was to evict. I think that was the last straw for me because, in a way, I felt that I had been trying to work hard for so long, but I hadn't had fun, the same as some of my peers in their early 20s. I wanted to have fun too, but I hadn't seen the fruits of my work, probably due to my work being so inconsistent and not focused enough. So when the eviction situation happened, what remained of my motivation to even try hard in the new company just died. And so I became a subpar employee subconsciously. No malice, no intent, but that's just exactly what happened. I didn't show up to meetings on time. I didn't put as much work in as my more previous and more disciplined or motivated version of myself had done. So naturally I was released from the company. While it would seem negative, it was surprisingly a blessing in disguise. Number one, we ended up moving to somewhere better. And number two, in a very unconventional and I wouldn't recommend type of way, I was recommended by somebody close to me, something along the lines of, well, sometimes you need a period of your life where you're just doing nothing with yourself, and I would still love you either way. And so again, subconsciously, that's basically what I done for a year and 2 months ish, 2-ish months. I was the unemployed friend. I can't lie, that shit was kind of fun. I was able to do simple things that others my age had been doing, and I hadn't set time for, and I hadn't set time for to do for myself. Going clubbing, going to events, 420, just things like that. But also, I got some therapy, some much needed therapy. And that was really needed because it allowed me to finally talk about my situation to someone whose only skin in the game was to make me come to understandings of my own life. I got to talk about my mistakes, my feelings about myself, and where I'd failed as a man. I got to talk about what wrongs have been done to me and what wrongs I've done unto others. Some really deep shit, to be honest. Funny enough, the therapist also recommended that I go through this fun period of just not really doing much. The problem with that fun period is that I got lost to the source. It lasted for way too long than it should have. And I mean, way longer, like a year and 2 months is ridiculous. And honestly, I think a lot of it was just fear of coming back. Fear that I've tried to be successful for so long and failed. What's going to make this time different? I can't take the pain anymore. For context, the trying would have been for about 4 years now, maybe 5 years, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Yeah, about 4 years of trying. I can't take the pain anymore. Like, let me just have a bit more fun. So what changed? Well, the guardrails that I had been using as a crutch to stay unemployed had been taken off. I explained that later at some point, not now, at some point in life. Reality had set in. I'm not that ambitious 19-year-old who dropped out of uni that there was so much hope for. I'm 23 now, and I'm extremely close to 24. And if I don't get my shit together, I'm royally fucked. In some ways, I'm behind on my peers, and in others, I'm pretty much on average with them. But it doesn't matter about them. It matters about where I want to be and who I want to be, who I've always wanted to be since I dropped out. That's a man I could say that I was proud of, truly proud of. So that leaves us here on the 16th of December 2025. More than a year since my last post. That was where I was. So where am I going? The aim is still sales. I'm sure of that. For a little while there, I thought it was going to be through music, hip hop, rapping, but I think not. Not because I don't think I can do it, but simply being I know in my heart of hearts that the reason that that even became an option was not for pure long-term goals and only for short-term pleasures. That if I would have succeeded, I would most likely have crashed and burned. I will most likely still lay a couple tracks, but simply for the love of the game and because I like writing and also free fucking will. So yeah, the plan right now is back into sales. I was good at it and I could have been better. The longer you stay in an industry, the more you will understand, the more pitfalls you can avoid, the greater the returns you will receive on your time investments. I know the pitfalls I made. I know I know better ways of avoiding them. I have the hunger again to be great. Things are still a bit too comfortable for my liking right now, so I will need to fix this to increase the hunger. But that's a job for later. For now, I have my goals for the year 2026. 100K in my account, 10K per month, and a banging body, and a space of my own, and a car. But unlike last time, to achieve a yearly goal, I've split it into smaller goals. Instead of yearly goals, I have quarterly goals. I need to get into a good sales community which has an abundance of great job opportunities. I've identified one which is 5,000 US dollars, the equivalent of 3,800 UK pounds. So now I need to save up that much money to get in. My mode of acquiring this money, will be through construction. I was previously waitering through an agency, but the truth is that method has scarce jobs per week and low pay. Having a network of people giving you advice is really underrated. A friend of mine stated that if I get something called a CSCS card, I'll I can work laborer jobs on construction sites. The work can be consistent with opportunities of overtime. This will allow me to work hopefully as much as possible to achieve that money goal. The investment for the card was around £180 and took about 2 weeks, but you can do it in under a week. When you factor in the course and the test, when you factor in the course and the tests, £180 investment to get an excess of £3,800. Unfortunately, we are at the end of December, which sadly is when construction jobs are pretty much dead. So I will most likely have to wait until January to really focus on that goal. This means I can focus on my other goal for Q1 more intensely, and this is to pass my driving theory test. Passing this will lead me to being closer to my Q4 end of year goal of having a car. All in all, my Q1 goals are to save enough money to get access to community, the sales community, pass my driving theory test, and a third goal, which is private to myself. Whew. Anyways, that was a fucking lot. I didn't know I was even going to type this much and say this much, but oh well. I guess that's how it goes. This is life episode one, I guess. When the time comes, there will be a sales episodes as well. Either way, I'm pretty happy with myself. Somehow, some way, I haven't kicked the bucket yet. I'm still fucking kicking, which means there's still a chance I can win. And I don't know, and I know more than I did. So I know more on how I can win, and more importantly, how I can avoid failing. I believe in myself and will try my best to do everything humanly possible, and maybe even not humanly possible, to achieve my goals. Let's see what happens.